What's going on? On today's episode, we're talking to Ashley Malfitano from the Uber Shop and her new baby project, the Mompreneur Boutique. We talked to her about managing 3 kids and 2 businesses, which is nuts. We also talked to her about the purchase of $100 or less that has most impacted her life and what she listens to in the car, podcasts, books. Tune in to find out.
This is the Marketing Natives, providing actionable ways to grow, improve, and succeed in your business. And now, your hosts, Christian and Aaron.
All right, Ashley, thank you for being on our podcast. We're going to break the ice with this question. What do you want to be when you grow up?
I want to be a beach bum, especially after coming off of 8 days in Grand Cayman. Yes, if I could live the life of not just a beach bum, but like luxury living beach bum.
Oh.
Well, is the Cayman super expensive because, you know, there's a lot of tourist people there, or is it like, you know, the rest of it's like super inexpensive? You go there with $100 or...
Oh no, it's a more expensive island. And we made friends with some of the locals, and they definitely try and price themselves in a point where they're not getting the bachelor and bachelorette parties, and it's not a big Cancun party spot. Mm-hmm. They want it to be the family friendly, much more luxurious island. So
interesting. Yeah, because I know, like, for example, if you want to go to the beach in Belize, it's like ridiculous, like $30,000 a year, and you can live like a queen. Like,
no. If you want to be on 7 Mile Beach, you're looking at an apartment about $1.6 million.
Oh, yeah, for an apartment. Nice.
For a little apartment. So, yeah. And that doesn't even put you ocean view.
Nice. You're like, okay, I got a little bit of work to do still.
Yes, it puts me big dreams in my business to achieve.
All right, so we'll actually probably talk about 2 things. So technically, you have 2 companies, but tell us a little bit about the Uber Shop. What is the Uber Shop?
The Uber Shop is a family-owned business. It started 20 years ago out of a little hobby that my mom had. At the time, eBay had just launched, and she would shop garage sales and then turn around and sell it on eBay. And she realized there was a niche there. And so it just grew from that. And so now then the Uber Shop sells on eBay, Amazon, Walmart, as well as we have a physical storefront in Plano. And so that is been our main business. The online, we've been there for 20 years, and then the storefront, we just celebrated this past spring our 12th anniversary.
It's so weird. I think we've talked about this before. It's very weird. Like, so we're obviously recording this 2019. Most businesses are brick and mortar and then go online. You guys literally started an online business when online was not really a thing, and then you went to brick and mortar. Like, I mean, you're like doing high fives to people as they're going the opposite direction and you're going the opposite direction.
It absolutely has felt that way. Sometimes we are doing it backwards, and it's when we felt a need, that's where we expanded our business, or we saw an opportunity. So we expanded the store when we saw a need to liquidate items that we didn't want to sell online. So when we buy huge overstock truckloads, well, not all of it is goods that we felt like were worthy of going online. And so there was a need for a storefront, and we expanded that area for our business.
Very cool. And for you, 20 years ago, obviously, if you guys see this on the video, Ashley is nowhere near old enough to, you know. So at 20 years old, you started. I mean, 20 years ago, rather, you started this when you were pretty dang young.
So I was late middle school, early high school when my mom started this. So it was, at that point, it was out of our home, and my siblings and I were helping my mom package orders, and she had employees that worked from home and helped do product listings for her. And so we would drive the drop-offs to their different homes, and we would do the post office run. And so my brother and I, we did that for her. And then I went away to college. And so when I was away at college, the business kind of really just blew up. It expanded pretty quickly, and my parents moved it into our first spot outside of the home, which was awesome because at that point it took over our garage. I don't know where the dining room table was at the time because I think that was a workstation for 5 employees. Our pool table was a packaging table, so we were so excited to get our home back. And we had an office and then quickly expanded to another office that was 4 or 5 times the size of our first office outside the home.
When you said that you left, I thought you were going to say that the company just went down because you were just so depended so much on you.
No,
right?
not at all. No, at all.
Complete opposite.
I didn't really start playing an active role until post-college. And even then, I had an agreement with my mom. My degree is merchandising. This is my background. I've always had a love for buying products and the selling process. And so I had an agreement with my mom. I wanted to go out into the corporate world and experience that because that's an education in itself. My college degree was one thing, but it's great to go into some large corporations and see their culture and how they do business. And so I went and worked for 2 very large corporations, had great learning experiences with them. But when I got pregnant with my first daughter, that was time to leave corporate America and come back home, per se. And I did, and it was a perfect timing. My mom needed just a little more help running the business. And so I joined her in the ranks, and that was 7 years ago. So when I was in corporate America, I would help her on the weekends when I could. But 7 years ago, I came in and took a very active role and took on the title as vice president to help her. And then even in the last several years, we've had to split the company and who's responsible for certain aspects because it's just gotten that big on how we're going to manage it and oversee the day-to-day operations.
So what do you enjoy most about what you do then?
I like the creativity and all. So I find it creative when, like right now, we have a line of concealed carry handbags that we design and manufacture and sell online. Yeah, it's just a niche that we found ourselves in. And we're going back into manufacture another round of it. And so to me, I love it is the math behind figuring out what is our projected need for another year's worth of supplies and how much fabric and all the numbers and behind it all. To me, it's a fun little game.
I was going to say, I can tell a lot of people right now as they're driving or on their treadmill or anything like that, they are probably rolling their eyes like, are you kidding me? Like that is the complete opposite of what I want to do. So, I mean, that's really cool that it's, everybody has their own specific talent. So it's very cool that you're like, no, I love doing this stuff.
So my friends, when I had my daughter, they had a onesie made for her that says, my mom makes really cool spreadsheets. Nice. And then we went on a girls' weekend just a couple months ago, and we all had sassy little t-shirts about our personalities and everything. And mine was, I bring the business plan in the spreadsheet. So anytime I get asked to volunteer, most of the time I get asked to do the spreadsheets in the organization for that. So
they love you. Yeah, obviously you're a great person, but they're keeping your friendship because they're like, we know for PTA or anything like that, we have somebody who's going to be able to help us. I don't want to get too far into this without talking about your other company or something that you just recently started and kind of explain like what that is, what the name of the business is, what do you guys do, and why did you start it?
So we just recently being in April, launched a new website called the Mompreneur Boutique, and our infrastructure is already there. We ship products we have an inventory fulfillment system out of our warehouse. We have shipping stations. We already have the infrastructure there to be able to have a website. All we needed to do was basically buy the product for it and set the site up, the actual technology. And it is something we've talked about for several years, but it just was growing inside of me because I'm now a mom of 3.
Oh man!
And I would consider, and Aaron really helped me put the words to this, I'm a mompreneur. And so I can really speak to that voice. I know what it means to juggle 3 kids and have big goals for your business and be able to grow it. And so how do we speak to that audience, provide solutions and fashions for that busy mom on the go? And so that's where it came up with the Mompreneur Boutique. And so we launched in April. And to me, that is just my sweet little passion project. And I love every minute of it because it is the life that I'm living day in and day out.
I feel like you keep saying little passion project, but it just speaks parallels to how your mom started the Uber shop as a, I think you said the exact same words, as a little passion project. So I think this is going to be really, really cool and really good in the long run.
I hope so. I really hope so.
And so it's, you're talking to people who are just like yourself. I mean, who are women who are trying to juggle those things, and then, you know, obviously they need the attire for that. So you're just kind of filling that gap, or filling that need of being able to shop online very easily.
Yes. There's a voice out there. Right now we're in a day and age where more women have a women-owned business, or they have a side hustle. Nice. They're working for an MLM. They're trying to start their own boutique. Mm-hmm. Maybe they want to be a fitness trainer. There's so many different things that women are achieving. And it's hard. It's hard to juggle it all, be a mom, and do that. And so absolutely we're providing fashion solutions. And then secondly, providing fashion solutions for every body type. Mm-hmm. So it's great to walk into a boutique and see all their cute clothes. But sometimes those cute clothes only fit someone that was in their pre-baby.
Yeah.
But being post-baby 3 times, the body's just different. And so you can still look so fashionable and after having a baby. And so I wanted to show fashions to women in that you can, just look great. Mm-hmm. There was a period of time when after I had my first daughter, I'd wear a t-shirt and yoga pants. And I didn't feel good going into work when I always wore that stuff. But then when I started putting together outfits that I felt comfortable in and fashionable in, again, my confidence went up. Yeah. And so that's why I want to provide to other moms out there when they're working their business, because it's one thing to go into a new arena. You're already going to be feeling a little nervous. But if you're looking good and you're feeling good with the way you look, it's just going to give you that little extra boost of confidence.
Absolutely. So obviously you're very passionate about both businesses. And this is a good question, because I think it'll be a challenging one in the sense that that's very entrepreneurial minded. What would you do if you couldn't be an entrepreneur, and why?
So if I couldn't be an entrepreneur, I would probably go back to being a buyer for a corporation. So it's that was my sweet spot before I left and came here. So I worked for a big corporation. I was in their buying office, and I got to do what I do now, but I was doing it for someone else. So, but now then I'm deciding the destiny.
Was it always like the end goal to come back to the Uber shop? Or was it ever the end goal to start your own business?
I guess I just felt such deep roots in the Uber shop. That's where
Mm-hmm.
it was. It's come back. I don't think it was necessarily to always have my own business. It was to come back to it. Mm-hmm. So. Yeah,
I was going to say it's obviously had years of ingraining into you of like, mm-hmm. This is always in the back of my mind, I guess.
And my mom and I are very similar personalities, and I thoroughly enjoy doing this with her. At this point in life, I don't know what my day-to-day would be if I didn't do this with her. It's kind of a fun thing that allows us to have that. We have a very unique relationship, and I know a lot of people don't get the opportunity, and I do.
Mm-hmm.
So.
Right. Yeah, I was going to say, it's like most people, and actually this is a weird or a sad spot, but there's actually a book out. I can't remember what it's called, something like Tree. But basically, and I think I've told this to Christian, but by 18, you've spent 90% of the time that you're going to ever spend with your parents or your kids with them. That's just like normal statistic. You go out to college and then you see them like once or twice a year. So like for you to do that, I mean, it really is special to spend time with your family that way. Or I guess the way to look at it too is like so many people are like, oh, I spend a bunch of time with them, but it's not quality time. So, I mean, I think the quality time of seeing them twice a year is way better than seeing them every day. And you're just like, you take it for granted. But it sounds like you guys have a very good relationship.
And that is the thing we've learned, is that so much of our we are together so much. So sometimes when we leave the office, it's so easy to keep talking business. Mm-hmm. And so that's been a learning curve to not keep talking business. I just spent 8 days. My parents were with us on vacation, and there were several times I was like, oh, I'm going to talk to her about this business thing. And I'm like, no, it's vacation. We're not talking business. And so I had to really bite my tongue. But it was, I think, the first time in a while we've gone that many days in a row without talking any business.
Yeah, I think that's not a mother-daughter situation, but like a friend situation. We were friends before ever even starting the business. And it's very hard to not just be like, hey, you want to go to Buffalo Wild Wings? And we're like hanging out. And then like, oh, dude, I have this crazy business idea.
Yeah.
Or I have this like.
Well, at some point we were living together too, and it was really hard to just disconnect completely and not talk. Yeah,
I could totally see that.
Yeah, that was definitely very hard.
So, I mean, I don't think either one of us necessarily hated that, but it was also like like we're closer as business partners, but not closer as like, oh yeah, we used to do fun stuff as friends. So I think it's, yeah, you have to like train yourself, like, and kudos for 8 days of doing that. Cause my mind works on business like 90% of the time anyway. So it's really hard for me to like step away and not do that.
Hard. It was hard to put down the phone, the email, the laptop. And I already had it in my mind. I'm like, okay, you bring your laptop because on Monday morning you have to do this one task. Keep the laptop put away until that one task on Monday morning. It's a practice of unplugging, which is a healthy thing, I think, for entrepreneurs, because you can get burnout, and we need to give our families that unfocused time and really pour into them. So,
yeah, absolutely. And I feel like there's going to be a lot of, speaking of businesses, I feel like there's going to be a lot of businesses that go to places and they somehow, like, you go there and it blocks like cell signal, or like, you know, the mountains and stuff have that too, but like, you know, Dallas doesn't really have that where you have signal everywhere. But I feel like there's going to be certain places where like you just don't get cell signal. Like they're going to have wired phones, and you go there and you hang out with friends and you actually just like, hey, let's play cards or have real conversations or go on like do something active. Like I feel like that's going to be a business because we get so like geared in or like focused in that it's hard to disconnect, but you have to force yourself like, okay, I have to pay somebody $100 to come here because I have to disconnect.
Yeah. So 2 businesses, 3 kids. What's a day-to-day like, and how the heck do you do all that?
Oh, no day is the same. I pre-plan. Let's just put it that way. I pre-plan. Thank you, Gmail calendar. I time block my day. I start months in advance. I actually just wrote a blog about this last night about how did I plan for the summer, because my kids are out of school. And so I just find creative ways, creative solutions. And maybe it's summer camp. They're going to go to summer camp for a week, and I get time to work on the business and understand as a mom, when I have blocked off time to work, I need to find a place for my kids, because I realized it's not right for them, for me to be working and juggling them at the same time. It's just not fair to them. I learned that the hard way with just one kid. And when you add 2 and 3, it's a non-start. But, so I schedule ahead of time. I have a wonderful support system. My husband is absolutely amazing, but he's a fireman, so he works 24 on and 48 off. So his days off, he's able to help with the kids. So we kind of just look at our calendar a month in advance and realize, okay, these are the days you're working, these are the days I'm working. And then also I think it's very healthy, and people should be aware of, is putting in family time into their calendar. And so we're like, these are our family days as well. So it's clear expectations to everyone when mom has to work, and what our family days are. So we time block that all out in a Gmail calendar. And then, it's overwhelming and complicated, and I try and tackle one day at a time. So, and every week is flexible. Next week, I'm volunteering at my kids' summer camp, and so I have to be there every evening. So I'm going into work a little earlier, and I have several babysitters that help us too. So.
Shout out to the babysitters for sure.
Absolutely. Thank goodness I have 2 sisters that are college age. One just graduated college and has been home for a gap year. She has been a lifesaver on watching my kids. So
you talk a lot about, okay, so the 2 businesses, obviously, and I want to kind of shift over here to a little bit of like the marketing for 2 businesses that are completely different. As far as like social media, do you have a platform that you guys like to use for the Uber shop versus the Mompreneur, or do you use both? Like, which platform do you prefer to use?
So for the Uber shop, I really have learned for that business that I like being on Facebook. I've played around on Instagram, but I haven't seen the right audience, that's a local audience, pick up for that. And so Facebook has just been a great place for that. And our customer base is a little older. And so they are truly just adapted Facebook over the last couple of years. And so that's a great platform to be on for them. Now with the Mompreneur Boutique, it definitely is Instagram. And so learning the ins and outs of Instagram, and big goal, I need to get to 10,000 followers so I can get my swipe up feature.
Let's go.
Yeah. My best friend said, Ashley, I have a bottle of champagne, a really nice bottle. When you get that swipe up feature that you talked about, we're cracking it open. And I was like, yes. But yeah, Instagram, we've seen a big there because of hashtags.
Yeah.
And the hashtags opening up those niche markets that truly are your customer base.
Yeah.
I've already seen that in just the short time that we've been on there.
Yeah, discovery. So what's your Instagram? We'll do that stuff later, but what's your Instagram for that one?
The Mompreneur Boutique.
Gotcha. So make sure you go follow them there. And kind of a segue to that, what's the biggest struggle you guys have with online marketing, or maybe there's no struggle, but like, I guess we've never talked to a business owner who hasn't struggled with it, because it's always, we even have, changes. So what's the biggest struggle with online marketing for you guys?
For me, I am so close to the business. It's hard for me to write copy or write a post because I'm so close to the business. I think some people may like, oh, that should be easy for you. And it's like, no, it's easier when you have someone that's kind of far removed. You tell them exactly, because to me, I'm like, I have too many words I need to say, and I don't know exactly how to say it. That's in the customer's terms. So that's been the biggest thing, is like we recently hired someone that's able to write copy for us. And when I see the post she writes, I'm like, oh, she got my thought out in just such a pretty way. And so that was a huge step for us, was just something I would spend hours fretting over, just having that person that writes copy, that knows it in and out, how it can just be a big game changer.
So what does 2019, or it could be 2020, how does that look for the Uber shop and then the Mompreneur Boutique?
So the Mompreneur Boutique, we'll start there. It looks at truly how I'm going to buy my fashions in the next year, because I am a buyer at heart, and then how am I going to tell that story? And so the first go around, I was like, okay, I've had some great learning lessons on how I really want to tell that story out to the mom, how I want to be a resource to her for the last half of 2019 going into 2020. And then for the Uber shop, it's continuing to build our online business. We've learned, yes, we've been in the business for 20 years, but we are still learning so much. And just even the way we buy for that business is, it's been we've had an interesting growing year, and it's been mind-blowing, and we've seen great results. And so just streamlining and making those businesses more efficient too.
Yeah. Growing pains are real for sure.
You need to go through some growing pains. It's how you'll come out stronger on the other end. We've gone through so many growing pains throughout the 20 years, and at times we're like, oh goodness, how will we survive it? Oh, when you do survive it and you come out on the other side, you're like, wow, okay, look at us now. We did that. You think you can do anything until you get to the next struggle. But right. You learn a lot, and it makes you get more efficient in your business. It makes you realize, hey, maybe I need to learn this new area. I need to take classes and be more efficient in that area. And so
do you think that's what's attributed to your guys' success, or what do you attribute the success of the businesses to?
My mom and I did a Facebook Live at the end of 2018, and she doesn't like being in front of our marketing, and so I got her on one Facebook Live, and I said, what is the one biggest business advice you can give? And she goes, be acceptable to change. And that is it, is that over 20 years, we've changed and evolved and been willing to change and evolve with the times. And I think that's how you plan for longevity.
So we have a question here that usually stumps people. What purchase of $100 or less has most positively impacted your life in the last 6 months, or maybe recent memory?
Oh, goodness gracious.
Nice. I like that response. So you guys, you prepared a lot of answers already, because, we're going to go through some typical business stuff, but this is the one.
$100 or less purchase that's been, for the business or my personal life?
Could be both.
Yeah. Anything that has improved.
I'll tell you one. It's less than a $30 purchase that changes the way I pack my suitcase. Our storage cubes.
Yes.
It is the most crazy thing, but I tell everyone about them. I put all my girls and myself for 8 days worth of stuff in one suitcase.
No, you didn't.
Organized in storage cubes.
So do you have the manual one or like the one that you hook up to like a vacuum cleaner or something? Or how does that work?
These are like zip around.
Okay.
So each kid has a storage cube, and it's all our stuff's immediately packed in it. And then, so when we get there, everybody just gets thrown in their storage cube, and you unload that in your little hotel space.
I need that for my wife. Oh my gosh.
So that's just my recent one from last week. I absolutely love storage cubes.
What company did you buy it from, or was it just
one on Amazon?
Okay, so there's not like a brand or anything. It's just like buy some storage cubes.
No, I just go on Amazon. I am an avid
Amazon
Prime shopper because I hate taking my kids in the store. It's like herding cats, getting 3 kids in and out of the store. So if Amazon will drop it off at my house in 2 days or less,
yeah,
that or Target drive up and they'll bring it out to my car. Those are my 2 places to shop.
Right, you're like, this is my calling. Yes.
Yes. I feel like I'm the only person that uses a service at Target, so I hope they don't take it away. But absolutely.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I feel like there's a lot of resistance for a lot of stuff too, and for whatever reason, like my wife Brianna, she actually likes to go grocery shopping. I'm like, look, you could save probably 5 hours a month by not doing that. She's like, no, I like to go grocery shopping. I'm like,
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, Megan said the same thing. And because we've done the grocery pickup thing a couple times when we don't have time, but she's like, no, I enjoy going grocery shopping with you.
Well, maybe they can go grocery shopping together.
I will be the one that says I don't enjoy going grocery shopping, but my husband does. And so he takes on that task at our house, though when we don't have time, we do grocery pickup. So when we were flying home on Tuesday night, we were quickly doing our grocery order to pick up the next morning before our plane departed. So yeah, it is a great time saver.
Yeah.
Indeed.
Yeah. So hopefully they do not take those away.
Hopefully not.
All right. So not a difficult question. Well, maybe, I don't know. In the last 5 years, what's a new belief, behavior, or habit that has most improved your life?
Oh, that's a good one. I would say I have never been really into personal development books. I always tried reading them, and then I get stuck. I had a girlfriend say, hey, you need to read this book. I was like, okay. She goes, just do it on audio. And I was like, okay, I'll do it. So last July, I read my first personal development book.
What was it?
It was Girl Wash Your Face by
I
Rachel
knew you were
Hollis.
going to say that. I knew you were going to say that. She
I
just came
love
out with
her.
a new book, too.
Yes, Girl Stop Apologizing.
Yeah.
It's already read. It's done.
I don't even know how I knew you were going to say that. That lady is killing it. What's her name?
Rachel Hollis.
Yeah, she's killing it.
She just speaks to moms. She just spoke in the past when I would try and read a personal development book. I just would get stuck. It would get boring to me. I don't relate to this, but I could relate to her. Mm-hmm. And so she was so relatable. And I read that book and I was like, oh, wow. Okay. Who is this lady? And so then I went and looked her up on social media and became a follower. And then I joined her business coaching class, and I'm just hooked. I can't wait. I'm going to her conference right here in Dallas in July, and I'm just so excited. And the friend who got me hooked on the book, we're going together. And
nice.
So, but since then, I've read other books and started following other people and watching their videos and things on just tips and tricks on how to be more successful and get to that next level. So Brendon Bouchard and some of them, they have some great books out there.
Okay. That's what I was going to ask. Who else is it besides her? Okay. That's, you answered that like pretty quickly. That's, wow. That's awesome. So a year later and you're like a believer, like this is my lady right here. Oh,
her. And I just personal development. Yeah, that absolutely there is that we all need to evolve. And there's a whole stack. I literally have 10 books on my desk right now that I don't know why I buy the actual book, because then I actually end up ordering it on Audible because I can listen in my car a lot more than I can, which I'm listening to Hug Your Customer right now. Have y'all read that book by Jack Mitchell? Oh, it is awesome. It is awesome. It's one of my new favorite ones.
Hug Your Customer? Hug
Your Customer. It's by Jack Mitchell, who owns a clothing store out of the Northeast, out of Connecticut, called Mitchell's Clothing, and it is just unbelievable. They talk about how they service their customer, and I think that's a lost art right now is customer service.
Yeah.
And it's just simple things that he talks about they did in their business that's helped them grow to where they are today.
Wow, very cool. Yeah, I'm going to definitely check that out.
So do you enjoy the Audible versions more than a physical book, or?
I used to love a physical book. I would just like crawl up on the couch and listen. But now it's just so hard to get that time. But I'm constantly in the car pulling kids or driving to work that I enjoy listening either to a book or a podcast. So,
Nice.
Yeah. So now that I listen to like a book that's like pumping me, like how your customer pumps me up on the way to work. And then on the way home, I'm like, I need pumped up to see my kids and like put my mind in the mommy brain. So I listen to my like raising kids podcast to like get me in the right
Mindset, yeah.
the mom brain mode. I don't know. That's all twisted up, but yeah.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I was going to say, I thought the mom brain meant that you forgot something, right?
No.
Some of the people use it as an
Yeah,
excuse.
that's what they normally do, but it's still, there's a certain brain, like, you know, of how I'm going to talk to my 3-year-old. It's like a certain segment into my brain I got to learn.
It's different than the way you talk to us.
It's different than I talk to you guys. I don't think you mean put my hand on your shoulder, look you directly in the eyes, speak your name in a very calm, turning voice.
Hi, Ashley. How are you today? It's a very calming voice. Everybody can kind of tell that through the podcast. Like, you guys can see that too. It's very, very nice. So what do you wish you knew now that what did you wish you knew then but you know now, like that you could tell yourself, like you could go back in time and you'd tell yourself, hey, look, you needed to do this for the business or your personal life or whatever, that you don't have now, or that you do have now rather?
That truthfully, if you can dream it, you can do it. And I guess I've always known that. That's what my mom always taught me. But I never actually felt like I believed it until this past year. But if you dream it, you got to have a plan to achieve it. And so it's really being willing to put in the time and the effort to make that plan, and then even more so the hustle to accomplish it. And so that's been the big thing. Like, don't be afraid to dream big, but then be willing to work hard to achieve it. And so
you asked us about our vision board. Do you have a vision board? Or
I don't have one visually. I write down every morning my 10 goals for myself, where I see myself in 10 years, and what are the 10 things that are going to get me to that person. So I write down that stuff, but I like the visual board for your company in your office. So I was thinking, I was like, I need to go home and do that.
There's something very psychological and therapeutic about writing it down too, especially if you do that. Like I feel like the combination between both of us here would be probably the ultimate place to be. Like, have the actual vision board, because we see it every day, but then also writing it, there's just, it ingrains it into you.
It sets your mind up right. So I do that. I have just this morning routine. I get up, I do my Bible study, my meditation time, and then I reflect on things I'm grateful for from the day before. And then I write out my 10 things are going to put me at the next spot where I want to be in 10 years from now. So, and then lastly, what is the one thing I can do today that's going to help it make that happen?
Very cool. So I think this is the last hard question. What do you think it's something that you failed at, and what did you learn from it?
What have I failed at? I can tell you what I've learned. It's something I recurrently do is sometimes, are y'all familiar with the Enneagram?
Yep. Yes.
So I'll put it out there. I'm an Enneagram 3. I like achievement. And so sometimes I want to achieve a little too quickly, because I get that gratification, I get that high off of achieving something. So sometimes I've realized over the past is that I could be a lot more thorough and have done a much greater job if I hadn't been rushing through it too quickly.
Gotcha.
So now then, it's as much as it goes against some of my personality, I want that gratification. It's holding back and being so much more thorough and doing a better job and not just checking it off my list.
Right. Yeah. There's something, again, you're like, oh yes, I want to be able to check that off. That's super satisfying.
It is satisfying, but there's so much more gratitude when you realize, wow, I really put in the time and the effort to see this completely through, and it's not just checked off. I truly lived it and accomplished it.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, so those were kind of the hard questions. You got through them. Thank you. You passed. You will get a picture afterwards for the award.
Thank you.
You're very welcome. So, easy question, or maybe not so easy question. Do you have a show that you just recently finished watching on Netflix as like a binge, or what you currently Netflix binging?
I'm currently Netflix binging Parenthood.
Oh, I love Parenthood. What season are you on?
I'm on season 2. I'm at the end of it. But am I on season 3? I'm like in the middle of it.
Okay. You'll know if you're on season 3 because it gets crazy. Like,
okay. Then no, I'm on season 2.
Okay.
So they're like about to adopt.
Oh, yeah. It's about to get us. Have you seen Parenthood?
I don't think so. Is it on Netflix?
Yeah, it's on Netflix. It's a very family-oriented kind of show. It's one of those ones kind of like This Is Us where, like, you may find something in your eye by the end of the episode. They do a good job of, like real family emotions and real family situations. I
like going back in time. Like I'm in a time right now that was, based on where the economy was in 2008 and, the recession and job loss. And it feels good being on the other side of that now and seeing a thriving economy. But to go back and kind of reflect on that and watch a show and I don't know. I'm enjoying that part of it. So.
Yeah, I really liked Parenthood. I was upset that they didn't continue to do. I think there's only 5 seasons, but I've definitely become a Dax Shepard fan since then.
Yes, his podcast is awesome.
Oh, I didn't know he had a podcast.
Yes,
do you know who Dax Shepard is, right? Yeah. Okay. Mm-hmm. He's got some kind of line or something at Target with him and his wife too.
Yes, they do have that too. But he has a great podcast.
What do they normally talk about?
Yeah, the one I'm listening to, which is a 3-hour-long podcast, he has a counselor, and I can't even think of his name. He's from the Golf Institute. Golf, and not golf. I'm saying this wrong. Anyways.
Goth? Is it goth? Like black?
Like,
no.
Like a psychologist and this guy that studied marriage and relationships. And
Dr. James Dobson?
No.
Andrew Andrews? No. I think I know who you're talking about. It's a husband-wife kind of, or not husband-wife, but husband-daughter. What is it? I think I know who you're talking about.
He's done a lot of research, written some great books.
Yes.
And I can't even think of his name right now. It's not mommy brain. But it's great. He's like, he can predict, based on watching couples 3 different times if they're going to get a divorce or not. And just that different, and what he sees as success in a relationship and what can, be signs of failure and how to work through those. And so, Dax Shepard interviewed him for that on his
Nice.
podcast.
I'll have to listen to that. I know that I've seen that guy live. At the Smart Conference. He was there with like a bunch of bigger names like with Dave Ramsey and stuff. But I know who that guy is. Him and his daughter started some kind of foundation. But super cool guy.
Yeah, I can tell you once I look on my list of
as soon as we stop recording,
I'll remember when we stop recording.
Awesome. All right. So how can our audience find out more about the Uber Shop, Mompreneur, more about you guys?
So you can go to either of our websites, so the ubershop.net, or follow us on Facebook, just the Uber Shop store. And then check out our website for the Mompreneur Boutique or on Instagram. So, and then if you really find that voice speaks to you, join our group on Facebook. It's kind of more an intimate group. We aren't really trying to sell products to you in that group. It's just more a conversation of moms and what are they talking about that season in life. So
what's the name of the group?
It's just, if you go to the Mompreneur Boutique on Facebook, you'll be able to join our group right there.
Okay. Very cool. Awesome. All right. Thank you so much, Ashley, for coming on.
Thanks for having me. This was a bucket list item. Like my dream is to have a podcast one day, but just to be a guest on here was
That's awesome. I think you would do really good.
Yeah, you do. You'd be awesome. Women
Thanks.
Definitely, and men too, would definitely, but you could definitely resonate with people. I think it'll be really good.
Thanks.
All right, so if this is your first time listening, make sure you hit that subscribe button. We have special guests once a month, but every other week or every 3 out of the 4 weeks, we have usually tips about social media. So you want to make sure that you subscribe so you do not miss out on the latest trends of what's happening online. And if you've been listening for a while, please do us a huge favor and leave us an honest rating and review. If you leave us a review, we will also give you a shout out on the podcast. If you have a website or a cool handle, we'll shout that out as well. So make sure you subscribe, make sure that you leave us a review, and just it helps us to understand how to continue to make better podcasts for you. All right, we'll talk to you guys next week.
Bye.
The Marketing Natives Podcast is a production of BitBranding.